Well, here we are. I promised you a video. I brought up IHSS and I'm going to jump into it and hopefully we're going to learn something together. I'll be able to share my experiences with you on how I became an IHSS provider. That means as a person that provides services in caregiving within the IHSS program, which is run through Medi-Cal in California or Medicaid throughout the United States. A lot of people aren't even aware that you can be paid by your state or through this program as a caregiver for your loved one, or maybe just becoming a caregiver to be someone to a recipient, which is a patient, a person that's within the program. So, first off, let's get this straight. You are a provider, you provide a service. The patient, the person that is part of IHSS, is a recipient. Okay. That's number one. And I'm going to share little stories about how I got involved in it. People would always tell me, you know what? You can get paid to take care of your mom. And I think in the time that I was taking care of her, I finally found out in 2020 how to do it, because everybody was saying, yeah, you could do that. There's a program out there, but nobody told me how to do it. So I'm hoping that this video would help clarify and help you find out how to do it. Now, I want you to bear in mind, out of all the people that are watching this, this is based on Southern California, Riverside County. Okay. Those are my resources, but every state should have a program within Medicaid that would help you as well. So you need to check out with your state and county Department of Social Services. They should be able to help you. Okay. With that being said, I know I'm jumping right into it, but I want to be able to provide something for you because there's a lot of information and just a lot of things. I don't want to make this too long, but I think it's enough. I'm going to make it a visual aid. Okay. So it's going to be a little bit different, but we're going to go into sharing my screen. Wish me well. All right. Let me find out how this can work here for both of us. And boom. Let's do this. Okay. All right. Let's do that. Okie dokie. And I want to get rid of this little box here so that we can, let's see. Boom. Okay. That little gray thing's going to disappear. Right. You with me? All right. I'm going to move this right here. Okay. So first off, IHSS is a program within Medi-Cal or Medicaid if you're outside of California. Okay. This is their home screen from the California Department of Social Services. Every state has a Department of Social Services. That's your first way to go find IHSS, in-home supportive services program. IHSS program provides an in-home assistance to eligible, aged, blind, and disabled individuals as an alternative to out-of-home care and enables recipients, remember those are the patients, to remain safely within their own homes. Okay. This was key for my mom. And when this happened, I was basically, taking care of my mom within her house. She didn't want to go into an assisted living. I didn't want her to go into assisted living, nor could we afford to put her into assisted living. Wow. I mean, that's a big thing. Let's see. I want to show. Let me do a little adjustment here. Okay, there I am. Okay, and we'll get rid of this box again. Okay, see, now you can see me. So basically, who's it for? Eligibility criteria for all applicants and recipients right? The patients. In this case, they must be a resident of the state. They must have Medicaid or Medi-Cal eligibility determinations, and you'll find out what those are. And they must live at home or an abode of your own choosing. It could be acute care hospital, long-term care facility, licensed community care facility, are not considered own homes. Okay, so you need to really find out. My mom lived within her own house, so that that was good. She was within the age limit. She was not able to take care of herself. There are definite guidelines of eligibility, and you must submit a completed health care certification form. So all that needs to be taken care of first to find out if you want to be, if you have a loved one that you're taking care of, you can take care of your, let's say, parents or a child or whomever. You can be that person to take care of them and be within this program. So this is information for the patient. Okay. And basically, whoops, let me not go too far. Basically, a program works that a county social worker will interview at home and determine your eligibility and go through all this process to make sure that you are a person that could be considered for the program itself. Okay. And if your county has contracted IHSS providers, which are the people that provide the service, you can choose to have services provided by that contractor. A lot of times, like in California, they have something called the public authority. Public authority is the contracted place where they keep all the information about all the people that are eligible to give the service and become the provider. That is something that I became part of. I am a IHSS provider. So if your county has homemaker employees, you may receive services from the county homemaker. How are payments made? It is actually pretty cool. It's all online, or I do it through my phone, and it's an hourly rate in your county. Everybody's going to be different. You can contact the social worker that's assigned to your case. They can negotiate with the employer of the record to each county and the wage rates and all that stuff. In the state of California, it has gradually gone up. I believe right now it's over $18 an hour. And if your provider, which is what I am, qualifies, you can have state withholding applicable amounts for disability insurance and Social Security taxes. So basically, you are working as a provider for the recipient, the patient. They are actually the person that's hiring you. Okay. You work within the program of IHSS, but the person that is in Medi-Cal or Medicaid hires a provider, which is me. I provide the service. I'm part of the system, but they hire me. Therefore, my employee, I am their employee. They are my employer. Not IHSS. That's just a program. The person that hires me is the patient. I'm going to be subjected to whatever time frame was allotted for their care based on what the social worker deems them needing. If the social worker says they need help with this, they need help with that, we need help with this, that all equals time. And that is the allotment that they are done. It gets assessed every single year. And you, as the provider, have to work within that perimeter of time. Okay. It can't exceed the amount that they've been allotted. It has to be within that perimeter of time. And your employer is that patient. You sign your paycheck through an automated time card that's either on your iPhone or on your desktop computer, and you log into this website and you log in your hours, and then it ends up at your patient's uh, computer, if you will, and they verify the hours that you say that you worked, and they approve it, and they submit it automatically to the social services IHSS program, and then they end up paying you. And it happens through direct deposit. I don't believe there's checks. I've only had it done through direct deposit. I handled everything for my mom. I work for my mom. At the end of the year, when the W-2s are issued, it does not say IHSS. It says my mom's name as my employer, and I get a W-2 as if I'm working for my mom. Nowhere does it say IHSS. Nowhere does it say anything about being a provider. It literally is a W-2 with my mom's name saying that I am working for her. And if you work for anyone else, if it's not family, it'll be that person that has hired you. And the W-2 comes to you at the end of the year. Check out this page, and it'll explain it to you how it works. And I want you to, it's the Department of Social Services. Granted, this is for California, but you need to check your area. And this is what you look for. Okay. Let's move on down here. So direct deposit was great. It was pretty quick. I remember when I did the end of the week, it was always Sunday, or it was always Monday to Sunday. I would fill out every 2 weeks on this app, my timesheet. It would be electronic based. I would sign it. The recipient would then get the time card, and they would basically say, yep, I concur. I will send it off, and it goes to the California's IHSS office or social services, and they cut the check, and it gets dropped into my bank account every 2 weeks. Okay. So this is how you apply. You apply for IHSS through the county office, and this is the application. It's really simple. It's 8 pages right here, 8 pages. Super simple. I can't tell you enough about how easy it is. I mean, they even have big print. Come on, people. So, and they'll ask you all these questions. And when you get it submitted, you can call your social service department, and it'll look like something like this. I remember filling it all out. Now, granted, when I filled it out, it was during COVID. So I did everything through telephone. I'm not sure how it is different now, but bottom line is you might have to either fax it over or mail it in, but they should be able to help you. But this is the actual documentation to sign up for the program. And let me see here. Let me go all the way to the top. Yeah. So the application for in-home support services. Okay. So that's what that looks like. There's a few other forms that you fill out, and let me go back down to here, provider resource, boom, because we want to be a provider, right? How to become a provider. Okay, so did I look at this one already? I don't think so. When you're a provider, you're someone who gets paid to provide services to a person who receives IHSS under that program. If you want to become a provider, you must complete all the steps outlined in the documents linked below. That would be down here, right here, before you can be enrolled as a provider and receive payment from the program for providing those services, which I kind of just explained to you. They do ask you a lot of questions. You have 90 days to complete it. If you don't meet it within that 90 days of completion, there's a big 90 day. You will have to start over again. They do a background check. That probably takes maybe a week, no longer than 2 weeks. And they will check your background to see if you're a criminal. But you could have had like it says right here, you review your criminal history or provide your criminal offender record informations. There are stipulations, like if you have a conviction or an arrest or something like that in the previous 10 years, no matter how minor, you should begin with the process with, and it's, you could still do it if you've been exonerated or whatever the case may be, but there is a background check, and you will be fingerprinted. So there's specific things that they will notify you about. Background check is like $40 to $90. There's different types of things that will say whether you're eligible or not. If you're not eligible, if you are in a tier 1 crime, of course, if you're an abuse of an elder or a dependent adult, I don't think that's going to make it right for you. This is not the right job for you. And you know, they do address these things, because you got to remember, at one point you're going to have to sign a document saying that you are mandated, if anything of abuse or any type of issues are at hand that would be at the um, considered questionable, they could call APS, which is Adult Protective Services. You have to report things because you are the eyes and ears for your recipient, and you have to make sure that everything is copacetic and safe. And they're watching over, you're watching over your patient, they're watching over you. There are things that you have to consider. So if you believe the information on your criminal background is incorrect, you can dispute it with the DOJ. They're just it's what they call CYA, right? Covering your donkey ass. So they give details on how you can become a provider. And here is a provider enrollment agreement that you need to fill out. Usually if you contact the county IHSS office or the public authority, which is like the portal where all the providers are housed, if a recipient wants to find somebody or replace the provider that they have, they're not happy with it, they would usually go to the office of IHSS or the public authority portal, and they can select a new person. So because they are hiring you, basically. That's what that is. So this was basically an enrollment process, and it explains that. Okay. The other thing that you want to consider too is, let me see here. Is it resources? Let me see if I didn't go there yet. I think we did go. Oh, no, maybe we didn't do that. Oops. So when I filled out all this paperwork, before I get into this, when I filled out all this paperwork, my mom was already needing my help, and I was already being her caregiver, but I wasn't getting paid for it. I didn't even know this happened. I didn't even know where to look. But when I was told, hey, check out this place, look at this portal, look at this website, and I made some phone calls. Granted, again, it was during COVID, so they weren't doing any person-to-person interviews. Social services did everything through the phone, and they literally mailed me all the documents that I needed to get things going. There is a lot of paperwork. However, once you do it, you don't have to do it ever again. That goes for signing up for Medicaid. That goes for being a recipient. There's different things. It's handled differently if it's a loved one that is selecting you. Because you take care of everything. It is a little different if you're just signing up to be a provider yourself, because if you're a provider yourself, then you need to be linked up with a recipient that's looking for a provider. And then you go through an interview process, which is obviously you don't do that with a loved one or someone that selects you. That could be also. So here's the public authority where the registered providers are housed, if you will. It's kind of like a roll call of people that are available and what they will and will not do. And that is something also you get to determine what you would prefer to do. Do you want to deal with incontinence? Do you want to just help them get to appointments? Do you want to drive them? Do you want to do grocery shopping for them? Do you want to only do meal prep and clean up, that type of thing? Do you want to help them to the extreme of bathing them or anything like that? You don't have to do that. You say what you would prefer to do. Okay. That's the difference. You say what you're willing to do, and they try to match you up with a recipient that is looking for what you provide. Okay. So once you've been approved uh, for recipient services, the social worker will help in obtaining a provider, which I just explained, right? And usually that's through the public authority. But you know what? You can be a provider for family members, friends, neighbors, or in general, which is where I'm at right now because my mom had passed away in June of 2024. Timesheet processing, we kind of gone through. It's always for the period, the 1st through the 15th, and then again the 16th through the end of the month. You get paid twice a month. It's your responsibility to make sure that all the information is up to date. Your banking information is up to date if you want to do direct deposit. So this will kind of tell you a little bit more about this. If you need to, pause this video and read the details of this. And these are the things with the provider information that they're going to have to need from you. And if you click on different things, and it could tell you they even do paid sick leave after a certain amount of time. I believe after a year of service of being a provider for my mom, they gave me I think it was 16 hours of sick leave, and it's paid time. So that's nice. They also provide they have paper timesheet if you don't have a computer or anything like that. Sometimes the program will allow overtime, travel time, wait time, things like that. It's all catered to what your provider needs are to the recipient and vice versa. Okay. So you do have things like that. If you, in my case with my mom, if you're a live-in provider, you have the option to self-certify your living arrangements. I had to move in with my mom, and I changed my address temporarily to my mom's address. And what it does is it excludes wages to be deducted for federal income tax and state income tax. You just have to fill out the forms and let them know about it. And so you could do a live-in provider self-certification information. That's always good to know. Direct deposit, it's no different than when you work with someone else and you want to have direct deposit into your checking or savings account or a pay card of your choice instead of being mailed through the U.S. post office. And plus it's quicker. Let me tell you, it's nice. All of a sudden it just shows up. You can get a pay card that's reloadable if that's what you prefer to have, but they'll help you out with that as well. Like I said, I always had direct deposit straight into my account. I would fill out the paperwork, and because it's electronic time cards, it'll let you know you can't do it ahead of time. You have to literally do it, your timesheet, as you check in to wherever your recipient's place of residence is, and you check in through this electronic portal app, and then you check out. So it's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very exact. Even you have to put on a locator on your phone if that's how you choose to check in, so that they can verify. It's kind of like Big Brother, unfortunately, because you shouldn't be like out in Tahoe skiing and saying, "Oh, I'm checking in," you know, you know what I mean? So they do have these things in place. I did not have to do that with my mom because I lived with her. So those guidelines were not for me when I was working and for my mom under IHSS. They were a little bit more relaxed and lenient with that. But when you are working for other people, because you can be a provider for more than one recipient, because if they only have you for 4 hours, right, with one recipient, and you want to get an 8-hour day, you can be hired by someone else for another 4 hours and make an 8-hour day if you prefer. And so they want the locator on your phone so that they can verify, yeah, you were at this location, and yeah, you're checking in to do 4-hour shifts, if that's what you prefer, depending on what the recipient was allotted in time based on their enrollment. You might have 6 to 8 hours at that one place. It all depends. This is something new that I did not do. And I think they just started this, beginning January last year. They made it available that providers can opt in to deduct CalSavers contributions directly from their paychecks. What CalSavers is, it's basically an IRA. It's an IRA, so that you can save for your retirement. So that is something new. So you have the ability through CalSavers. This is California, remember. CalSavers Retirement Program offers IHSS providers a Roth IRA. So that's kind of nice. That's something different that I never did have available for me since my mom passed away in 2024. So that's something new. La 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 la. Online direct deposit enrollment can be done once you're filling out your paperwork. So that's really cool. So here's all the information how to get started. So you do have options for that, which is really cool. I'm kind of happy to see that. What else is there? They are very much, because you are mandated, anytime anything may be at the risk of the safety of your recipient, and you need to report something. Maybe there's a family member that's not too cool with your recipient and you're aware of it. You're mandated to report these types of things. So they do put a big emphasis on APS. Anytime you notice anything, you need to report something about any type of child abuse. If you notice it, you're mandated to take care of all these things. So I hate when my cursor does that. So just something to think about. Let me get this. Let's see if orientation. So this whole section right here is the provider orientation area. And if you look over to this side, it's basically the same thing, questions, links there. But the provider orientation, it tells you basically what to expect when you are signing up. As a role as a provider, it's critical in making possible for individuals to remain safely in their homes where they can enjoy personal freedom and independence and continue being part of their community. That's the whole emphasis. Sometimes people can't afford, which is what I went through with my mom. So I became a provider for my mom. Okay. And if you go to the website and they have these little hot spots, you can click on it and it'll take you right to where you need to go to find help and resources. Again, it just reiterates, here's the provider enrollment form. It tells you exactly what to do. It really is simple. Don't be overwhelmed by the amount of paperwork. But once you get started on that, you have 90 days. I'm going to repeat that again because you do not want to do it over again. It's pretty easy. Stay diligent. So, they make it seem really easy, and it typically is. If you really think about it, there's 4 steps. Go to the orientation given by the county. You'll learn how the program works and what the requirements are. Complete, sign, and return this enrollment form. And return it to the county office or the public authority. If you need additional information, blah, blah, blah. Do not send the form to CDSS. So I don't know. That's CDSS is the Social Services Department of California. Okay. They don't want to have it. You go to the IHSS office or the public authority. Okay. Complete and sign the enrollment form, which is a SOC 846. The provider enrollment form is SOC 426. Okay. So there's two, there's an agreement and an enrollment form. All right. This is the agreement that all providers are required to sign. And then the last step is getting fingerprinted and going through the criminal background check by the state of California DOJ. Again, wherever you are located, check what the requirements are within your county and your state. Okay. Here are the forms if you need to find that out. And sometimes they will have videos for you to check out as well. I am currently now certified, and I'm part of the oops. Well, that's not what I expected. I am part of the public authority now. So I am in their I'm in their portal. Okay. So this right here, the California Association of Public Authority for IHSS is let's click on that one. I am part of their database now. Okay. And I am a provider. So if someone is looking, let's say you're helping your mom or your dad or a friend try to find some help for caregiving, you can go to this portal and search for someone if you are part of Medicaid or Medi-Cal. Okay. This is only good for Medi-Cal or Medicaid program enrollees, right? It's non-medical personal care like bathing, feeding, dressing, and or domestic services like shopping, cooking, or housework to remain safely in their own homes. It's to give non-medical personal care. Cannot emphasize that enough. So you can learn more about the program, the providers, and their history. I wonder if I click on that. Let me see what that says. Okay, so here it goes a little bit more in depth what a provider is. They're paid to deliver these services to individuals who receive IHSS. Okay. And it's like I signed up, I said, I guess I'll do light house cleaning. I guess I'll do some meal prep. Hopefully, it's nothing elaborate. Laundry, I don't mind doing laundry. They want me to go grocery shopping, I'll go grocery shopping for them. Personal care service, do you want me to help you get to a medical appointment? Do you want me to help you with your pills, or do I need to be part of protective supervision, for mentally impaired? Well, I don't feel qualified to deal with mentally impaired patients, so I wouldn't check that off for me, but maybe somebody else is, and this is providers can be relatives or friends of a consumer, which is a patient, which is also known as a recipient. Okay. Everybody has their own little jargon. Consumer is a recipient, AKA patient. Excuse me. So anyway, here it tells you about the registry, and it talks about becoming that. So there is a application form. They do need your social security. They need proof of citizenship and all these other pertinent information to become part of the provider registry, which I just completed. I want you to know I started in, I think, the end of November. In December, I was pretty much done submitting and uploading my documents to the port authority, and we finally got finished. I think I finished mid-January after they did a background check on me, and I was just waiting for my ID card, and I called them saying, "Hey, I got through everything. I did the background check. I also submitted a drug test to make sure that I was clean, and everything went through, but I never got my ID card. I just got it." So it is a process. And I don't know why it took so long, but by February, I should have been on the road to, with my little badge and whatever else. So, so this gives you a little bit more information. Okay. So if you want to know more about it, um, freeze this and kind of look over the screen. But this is where you are going to live as availability. Now, you don't have to be a provider for a different recipients. You can just be it for your loved one, your friend, your family member. So let's look at this one. Does it take me back to the original screen? Yeah, it does. Okay. So I hope this helps. I mean, there's a lot of information. There's phone numbers here on the side. If you see something that was interesting, scroll back, freeze it, look at it, and make phone calls. Sometimes you should be able to speak to somebody within IHSS or any of the county or state places like here, write down this number. Sometimes they'll be able to mail you all the forms. You don't have to worry about that. And they can explain a little bit further for you. Let me get out of the screen. Oops, hold on here. Let's get out here and let's stop this. And then should get my big fat mug in there. There we are. Hello. Um, it seems a little daunting, but I do want you to know that after you are set up as a provider for your recipient, your loved one, in my case, it was my mom. I only took care of my mom, but every year they have an assessment. Um, Initially, there was a lot of paperwork, but every year they would send over a packet and they asked, did anything change? Is there anything that need to be updated or anything like that? I'd sign it, and the social worker would say, we're going to come over, set an appointment with you, and we're going to just check out everything, speak to your mom, see if there's any needs for her, and just make sure that everything's within the realm of what they have according to paperwork. And at that point, they will assess if you need more time. My mom, when we started out, didn't need as much help as I had initially written down. But towards the end of her life, she required more. She was bedridden, and I needed to be more active. So they added more time, which then permitted me to get paid more based on the time. The dollar amount didn't change in regards to, well, they would have increment increases. I think I started out at $14 or $13 an hour. When all was said and done, after so many years of taking care of my mom, I ended up over $18 an hour. So that's a substantial increase. And my time went from, I think, 63 hours a month to 160 hours a month. If you do that math, it doesn't come out to a lot, but it's something. Because I spent 24 hours, 7 days a week taking care of my mom. But if you think about 160 hours a month was given to me, it averages out to maybe 4.5 hours a day or 5 hours a day. Every once in a while, I was able to scrape in 6 hours a day on my time card. The trick is to never go over the allotted amount, because then it's considered overtime. And you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm doing 24 hours care, but they're only paying me for 5 hours. So 20 hours you're working for free. I thought that, but dude, let me tell you, you're getting paid. It's It's not much, but coming from a person that didn't have much and it was helping my mom, and I was grateful. Because if you were to put this person into a care facility, easily, I had learned, you're dealing with a staff of 1 to 3 to maybe 4 people to one patient at easily $15,000 to $30,000 a month. Who can afford that? Somebody can. I couldn't. Yes, you were doing the work of maybe 2 to 4 people per patient. You may be doing that all by yourself. It's not much, but it's something. And it's nice to have that. And if you're blessed to have an income, and this is an added income, it's not a bad allowance. I encourage you to do it. If you're taking care of someone, you may as well get paid for it. If they are part of Medicaid or Medi-Cal, go for it. I say it's worth it. My mom has passed since June of 2024, and my certification within the IHSS program was still active, and I have until June this year to maintain it. Otherwise, I have to do the paperwork all over again. But I just got my card, and I'm going to be part of that public authority registry, that portal, and I'm going to make myself available, and I'm going to at least do 4 hours to help somebody. It's an income. It's part of your W-2. You still have disability, unemployment, and SSA deductions, just like normal if you were having a regular job. But you know what? I can't argue with $18 an hour, $18.50. And it may be minimal time, but you know what? You control that. You control how much you want to work. It's not bad. I encourage you to do it. I hope this video helped you out. I hope it's something that that you can go back as a resource, stop and freeze frame different parts of the video, write down phone numbers, and do some research. Remember, this is based on California, but every state should have this program because Medicaid is national. While we have it. Hey, it's a pleasure to share this information. If you want more details or you have questions, drop it in the comment section. I will answer you back. I'll do my best to help you out. Okay? It's always a pleasure to be speaking with you. Thank you for checking in, and continue to be blessed, and always be good to yourself. Bye.